Tim Lerch here. I want to talk about this guitar. Sometimes I get a new guitar and I have to play around with it a little bit for a while to get it to work for me. Sometimes I don't keep it. I think I'm going to keep this one. This is a 1951 ES 350 with the original two P90s. When I got it, it was really jacked up, and I think the person who had it just didn't know how to set up a guitar. But anyway, it's very nicely set up now. The guys over at Mike Lowell's Guitar Works were very patient with me getting it set up the way I wanted it. I just got it back from the shop doing what I hope is the final kind of setup thing. This guitar is unique in that it has two volume controls that are independent of each other. So usually on a 335 or Les Paul or any Gibson with two pickups, if you turn either of the pickups all the way off, both of them go off. So on this guitar, it's not the case. You can turn the rear pickup all the way off and have just the neck pickup. Or you can turn the neck pickup all the way off and have just the rear pickup. Or you can have some sort of blend of the two. Here's when they are both full up. And if you turn, you can't really hear once you get past having one, maybe a couple of numbers lower. But like, for instance, here's the neck pickup with a little bit of the bridge pickup blended in. If I turn the bridge down a little bit more, you can hear it kind of going away. The bridge pickup is on. It just at a certain point the neck pickup kind of overpowers it and you don't really hear it much, but you can bleed a little bit of it in. And there are a couple of very magical spots along the way where the pickups are in the same volume range as each other, and you can kind of get them kind of balanced in a very interesting way. So having that, this knob here was originally a tone knob, master tone. There's a lot of I think misinformation about what this knob is. I've seen it listed as a blend knob, and I don't think it's ever been a blend knob. I think it's always been a master tone. So volume for this one, and master tone. I could be wrong about that. I'd love to hear someone tell me that they've got an ES350 with the original wiring and what this knob does on it. When I got it, it was a master tone, but the pot was jacked up. The cap was really, really tired. So if your pickups were full up, either one of them or both of them, it acted like nothing until the very last minute, and then it was all like woof. And then if you turn the pickups down at all, say maybe to 5 or 6 each, then it didn't do anything except roll off the volume. So it was kind of like a funny thing. And I can imagine where someone might think that was a blending effect or something. But for my purposes, oh, by the way, when I got this guitar, these two pickups were out of phase with each other, and I hate that sound, so I just had them reverse the wiring on this pickup. Anyway, so what I had, and what works for me, the logic of having three knobs is that if I get a sound that I really like, which is a blended sound, meaning both pickups are on and they're in some sort of balance, it's very hard then to turn it up and down, especially if you have to do it quickly and maintain that sound. So I had them put over at Mike's place a master volume right here. So now I've got this sound, and I can turn it down. Now, when you turn something down, it definitely loses a little high end, and so I had a treble bleed cap put on here, and it works pretty well. I may have to play around with this because I want to have more subtle action on this knob. It kind of all happens within the first 3 or 4 numbers, and that's not ideal for me. But anyway, so if I have this sound, this is full up, and this is kind of a pingy sound where both pickups are a little bit less than full on. Well, let's just turn them full on. So we got this sort of, kind of 2 pickup sound. Really nice rockabilly or Travis picking type sound. And then I can just turn that down. I guess a Gretsch is a little bit like that. So for my purposes, I often like the neck pickup better than the rear one. But I can bleed a little bit of that rear in there to give it, so if I'm doing, say this, I want to have a little bit of that rear pickup in there just to give it a little sparkle, a little kind of almost a false acoustic sound. And then I can turn the guitar down really easily and then turn it back up for a solo or something. So anyway, that's this guitar, and it's kind of newly clarified wiring scheme. The guys who worked on it told me that this was really bungled up in there, and this was all original, but the cap was toast, and so they put a new harness in because it had been damaged or actually messed with, and somebody didn't do a very good job. So now I have this very nice ES350, not an ES350T. It's a full 17-inch with a full 25.5-inch scale, and so it's the same as an L5 or an L7 scale-wise and dimensions-wise. This guitar has a very thick, or relatively thick, laminated maple top, which makes it kind of cool for louder situations if I play outdoors or if I need to play with a drummer or something like that. And of course I have put my frets in it, and so now it feels like my L7, and I love these pickups, and so it's a really great guitar. Oh, I noticed one more thing when I got this guitar. Someone had gotten inside and played around with things, and it turns out that when both pickups are even in volume, either full up or both at, within a couple of degrees of the same volume, they're hum canceling. So, for instance, if you hear this, I think maybe you can hear that. As soon as I get it within about 2 numbers of full, I get hum canceling. So that is kind of cool because some rooms are noisy and problematic, but you can get the hum canceling without really getting too much of a different tone than you're after. And I've always liked a little bit slightly brighter. Being a George Barnes fan and a Django Reinhardt fan, I've always liked a little bit brighter than the typical, really dark jazz tone that everybody seems to like. So I don't mind blending in this back pickup a little bit. So anyway, why don't I do a little playing? Let's see. I always play a little blues on this guitar, so it's a good blues guitar. 1951 Gibson ES 350. Now, don't go buy one of these. Don't even think about it, because I like them a lot and I don't want the price to go up. But if I could find a blonde one like this, I'd probably grab it if it was not $1 million. Because I like blonde ones too. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed that.